Hello, everyone, and welcome to 30 Minutes to Bound Revolved Lunge, also known as Parivrtta Baddha Anjaneyasana. Now, just to get to a revolved lunge, we need a very deep twist. So we'll be working on our twist today. And then on top of that, in order to get to the bind, we need to find some deep stretches in our shoulders. So let's start our practice today by getting into the shoulders. So if you're not there already, find yourself in a nice kneeling position, thunderbolt pose like I'm in right now. And then let's just take a few deep breaths to ground our energy and become present. And now let's warm up our shoulders by taking our shoulders forward, taking them up towards the ears, taking them back, and then taking them down. And do that with the breath. So inhale, shoulders forward and up. And exhale, down and back. And do a few more of those on your own breath and on your own timing. And you might notice certain popping or certain crunching happening when you do this pose. It's one of my favorite exercises. It really gets into all the areas of the shoulders, and we find so much tension in our shoulders. We spend way too much of our lives hunched over computers and other positions. So it's really nice to get into all those nooks and crannies. And from here, take your fingertips to your shoulders. Bring your elbows in to touch. Bring your elbows up towards the sky. Bring your elbows out. And bring your elbows in and see if you could glide along your ribs with your inner arms. And then do that with the breath. So inhale, elbows in and up. And exhale, elbows back and down. And again, use your breath. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, down and back. And you really can't do these exercises too slowly. So try not to rush through these circles, but slow down your breath and let your movement go right along with your breath. And next, let's explore what shoulder movements we need for our bind. The first thing we need is shoulder extension. So take your arms out in front of you, and if you bring your shoulders, or if you bring your arms forward, this is what's known as flexion, but if you bring your arms back, this is what is known as extension. So first start just by bringing your hands as far back as you can until you feel some stretch, most likely in your pecs, or your anterior deltoid. And then interlace your fingers, suck your belly in, lift your heart up, and reach your hands as far away from your body as you can. And then we'll do one more. So release your hands, take your hands behind you, fingers facing forward, and then sink back into your hands. Bend your elbows back as you lean back. Okay. And then slowly come back up. Next, bend your elbows out in front of you and let your fingertips touch with your elbows out. This is what is known as internal rotation or medial rotation. And then turn your elbows in and fingertips out. This is what is known as external rotation or lateral rotation. And do that a few times. And notice this movement happens at your shoulder. So we tend to think like, oh, my hands are moving or my forearms are moving. But this action is initiated by the rotating of your shoulders. And what do we need for our binds? We actually need that internal rotation. because notice when you bring your fingers in and then take the hands behind you. So we combine internal rotation with shoulder extension in order to come to this position. And then from here, interlace your fingers again and take both hands over to your left side. And from this position, lean your left ear towards your left shoulder and see if you can find a nice stretch in your right side of your neck, a little bit in the shoulder. And then see if you can deepen that stretch by pressing your hands into your left side and further drawing the right shoulder away from your right ear. And come to the other side, so hands come to center and all the way to the right. And lean the right ear towards the right shoulder. And then press your hands into your side body to engage some of those muscles. And further draw the left shoulder away from your left ear. Another one of my favorite stretches. Feel free to hang out here for a longer period of time. It can even really be nice to drop the head and lift the head to get into different areas. And release the head, release the hands. And find yourself in a cross-legged position. And let's find our twists. So inhale, take both arms up. And exhale, twist to your right and let your right hand come behind you and take your left hand to your right knee. And inhale, shrug that right shoulder down to really find length in your spine. And then on your exhale, twist a little bit deeper, looking over your right shoulder. And I want you to imagine like there's a helium balloon attached to your head and your spine is always straightening perfectly vertical to the sky. So we're always creating space and moving into it in our yoga practice. And switch to the other side. Inhale, both arms come up. And exhale, twist to the left. Once again, we inhale, find length and find space. And on your exhale, we twist a little bit deeper. Now, if you've taken any of my videos before, you know that our side bends do indeed help our twists. So inhale back to center. And exhale, release your right hand down to the mat in line with your hips and lean to the right. And then really ground out your left hip as you reach your left fingertips up. So you might really press your right hand into the mat to further ground the left hip. Make sure we're not just leaning over onto the right hip. And other side, inhale back to center, arms to the sky. Exhale the left hand down in line with your hips, and we lean to the left. Once again, we're rooting to rise. Ground out the right hip as the right arm reaches up, up, up. And then inhale back to center. And let's return to our twist, but this time take the right hand all the way behind your back, so the back of your right hand comes to your left side, and then left hand to the right knee, and twist to the right. And you might find after that simple side bend, you are able to go even deeper into your twist. And same thing, other side, come back to center, inhale, arms up. Exhale the left hand all the way behind you, right hand to your left knee. But maybe your left hand can even touch your right hip crease. Inhale, find length and space. And exhale, move into that space. And on your next inhale, come back to center, arms to the sky. On your exhale, reach forward and come into your tabletop position. Shoulders over your wrists and hips over your knees. And we'll thread the needle here, so take your right arm up towards the sky. And thread the right arm underneath your left shoulder. Let your right shoulder drop, and let the side of your right head drop. And for this thread the needle, I want you to take your left arm up and then all the way behind you. And maybe you can even tuck your left hand on the inside of your right thigh. And take a few deep breaths here. And come out by releasing your left hand to the mat and press yourself back up to a tabletop position. And do the other side. Take the left arm up towards the sky. Thread the needle. Left arm threads underneath your right. And then right arm up and all the way behind you. Maybe your right hand's just kind of floating there on the left side of your body. Or maybe you can tuck it on the inside of your left thigh. Take a few deep breaths here. And wherever you are, return the right hand back to the mat and press yourself back up to a tabletop position. From tabletop, step your feet out behind you. And for a brief plank pose, and then hips to the sky, downward facing dog. From downward dog, walk your downward dog forward, coming into a forward fold at the top of your mat. Once you're there, bend the knees, tuck the tailbone, slowly roll up one vertebra at a time. And take your hands to your heart, come to standing, and feel into your breath. Next, we're going to go into deeper and deeper lunges in order to work our way up to our full revolved lunge. And we'll also continue to warm up the body and wake up the legs with a few chair poses. So from standing, bring your legs together and then bend the knees and take your arms up and actually take your palms together as well for this kind of legs together, palms together chair. Later, we'll do some chair twists, but for now, find alignment in your chair by looking about 5 feet in front of you and keeping the spine nice and straight. And then take your hands to your heart and fold forward all the way down to the ground. From here, take your left foot to the back of your mat and let your left knee find the ground. Take your left palm, plant it firmly on the mat, and take your right hand to your right hip. And then slowly feel into the twist. So draw the right shoulder back, and draw the left shoulder underneath of you. And then lift the heart, suck the belly in to straighten the spine, and then look over your right shoulder. So this is our kind of baby revolved lunge. It's pretty accessible for most people. And let's try the other side. So looking down, right hand to the mat, tuck your back toes under and step forward. Other side, step the right foot back, let your right knee drop. Right hand plant firmly on the ground. Left hand comes to your left hip crease, and we turn to the left here. And notice the more the left shoulder draws up and back, the more the right shoulder can come underneath of us. From here, looking down, left hand to the mat, tuck your back toes under and step forward, forward fold. From here, bring your legs together, bend the knees, arms up, palms together one more time with this variation of chair pose. And then come to standing, hands return to your heart. Find your breath. All right, moving on. Bend the knees, arms up, palms together. And this time, take your hands to your heart and keep the bend in your knees. Just fold forward halfway until you are looking straight down. And find that straight spine by tilting tailbone up, dropping the belly, and lifting the heart. And just stay here. We'll continue to build on this pose. And on your next exhale, fold forward. From here, take the left foot to the back of your mat. And we'll keep the back knee lifted this time. Just bend your right knee over your right ankle. And then plant your left palm on the ground and take your right arm up towards the sky. This is the next progression in our revolved lunge. And notice the left arm can continue to press and the right arm can continue to reach up towards the sky. Okay, other side, looking down, right hand to the mat, step forward with the left, and step back with the right. Left knee bends over ankle, back knee stays lifted. So your hips are lowering, but the back thigh is reaching up towards the sky. From here, right palm plants and left arm to the sky, looking up at your left fingertips. And looking down, left hand to the mat, step forward into your forward fold. From here, legs together, bend the knees, take the arms up, palms together for chair pose, holding chair pose for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come to standing, hands return to your heart. Find your breath. Okay, now we're ready to get that left elbow to the outside of our right thigh. Let's do it first in our chair twists. So bend the knees, take the arms up, palms together. From here, hands to heart and fold forward halfway like we've explored. And then take a right turn. So take your left elbow to the outside of your right knee and then squeeze the palms together and draw your right shoulder back. And come out the same way we came in. So looking down, take your hands to your heart and switch over to the other side. Right elbow outside of your left thigh. From here, looking down, hands return to your heart, and on your next exhale, folding forward. From here, left leg to the back of your mat. Right knee bends over the ankle. Take your arms forward and up for high lunge. And just stay in high lunge for a few breaths. And we'll transition to revolved lunge the same way we did to our chair twists. So take your hands to your heart and fold forward halfway. Notice the spine is straight. Keep the spine straight as you turn to the right and your left elbow finds the outside of your right thigh. And the belly can touch the thigh, but don't rest or sink too much into that front leg. Keep your weight evenly distributed into both feet. And looking down, hands to the mat, step forward, forward fold. Other side, right leg to the back of your mat, left knee over the ankle. Take your arms forward and up for high lunge. Staying in this high lunge for a few breaths. From here, take your hands to your heart, fold forward halfway, turn to your left, right elbow outside of your left thigh. And continue to take those deep breaths. And looking down, hands top of the mat, step forward into your forward fold. Bring your legs together, bend your knees, take the arms up to chair pose, palms together. And on your next exhale, come to standing, hands to your heart. Find your breath. Okay. Our next task will be to spread our wings. So we'll do that in a number of fun poses. Let's first just find it standing. So take your arms up towards the sky, and then take your right arm back and reach your left arm forward. And then really reach in both directions as much as you can. Feel not only the twist, but also the opening and broadening of the shoulders. And come to the other side. Inhale back to center, arms come up. Exhale to the left. And inhale back to center. Exhale, bend the knees, palms together, chair pose. Come into your chair twist the same way we've been exploring. Take your hands to your heart. Fold forward halfway. Turn to your right, left elbow finds the outside of your right thigh. And this time, let's spread our wings. So take the right arm up, left hand down. Your left fingertips might even find the mat. And you could stay here, or you might take your right arm behind you and maybe even tuck it on the inside of your left thigh. From here, hands to heart, looking down. Come back to center. Other side, turn to the left, right elbow outside of your left thigh. Spread your wings. Maybe your right fingertips come to the mat. Maybe stay here, or maybe the left arm comes all the way behind you and you tuck it on the inside of your right thigh. And hands to the heart, looking down, come back to center, and release into your forward fold. Nice job, yogis. From here, step back to plank pose and take your vinyasa. Lower halfway down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. From downward dog, take your left leg high to the sky. And swing the left foot forward, plant it between your hands. Let your right heel spiral down. And then windmill your arms into a warrior two pose. Okay. So from this warrior two, you're going to take your right arm all the way behind you. So the back of your right hand comes to your right side. And then come into a side angle pose from this position. So reach your left arm forward. Let me move my mic. Reach your left arm forward and then tuck the right hand inside of the thigh as you bring your left elbow to your left thigh. And draw your right shoulder back. All right, inhale, come back up, warrior two. Exhale, hands to the top of the mat, step back to plank pose, take your vinyasa, meet in downward facing dog. Other side, right leg high to the sky. Swing the right foot forward, plant it between your hands, left heel spirals down, windmill the arms to a warrior two. Same as before, left arm comes all the way behind you. Reach the right arm forward and tilt the body, extended side angle. But keep that left hand tucked inside of your right thigh. And on your next inhale, come back to center, warrior two. Exhale, hands to the top of your mat, step back to plank pose. Take your vinyasa, meet in downward facing dog. From downward dog, let your knees find the mat and have a seat. All right, we'll do one more twist with an option to bind before our full revolved lunge. So come to half Lord of the Fishes by bringing your left foot into your right hip and cross your right leg over. From here, take your right hand behind you and then take your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. So this is kind of the first step to our deeper twist and finding a bind. And I want you to notice how much of a deeper twist you come to as you rotate your left hand down. And maybe today you just grab the bottom foot. But if you keep that rotation going, eventually your hand finds its way into the triangle formed by your right leg. And you might stay there and continue to use your right hand for balance, or maybe we come into the bind by taking the right arm around. And for all of these binds, if you're like 2 to 3 inches away, you can bridge that gap with a strap and then slowly inch your way down your strap. Okay, let's try the other side. So come back to center. Take the hands behind you. Switch the cross of your legs. Take the left hand behind you. I'll turn so you can see me. Take your left hand behind you and take your right elbow to the outside of your left thigh. All right, so you might stay here. Notice what changes as you rotate your right hand down to perhaps grab your right foot. Now, if you keep that rotation going, eventually your right hand finds its way. And then maybe we find the bind. But don't like crunch and round the spine and force your way into the bind. Keep the spine straight. All right. Coming back to center. Take the hands behind you. Windshield wiper the knees. Okay, so now it's time to have a go at our full revolved bound lunge. Crossing the ankles, coming forward into your downward facing dog. Take the right leg high to the sky. Swing the right foot forward, plant it between the hands. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, take your hands to your heart, fold forward halfway, and turn to the right. So option 1, continue to stay here. Maybe this is where your body is at today. Option 2, spread your wings. Option 3, come into the bind. Now, if you're like me, you can't just come directly into it. You have to help a little bit. So I'm actually going to take my right hand to position my left hand underneath me, and then I can take my right arm behind. Okay. And wherever you are, continue to take a few deep breaths. All right, looking down, hands to the mat, step back 2, downward facing dog. And other side, left leg high to the sky. Swing the left foot forward between your hands. Inhale, arms forward and up, high lunge. Exhale, hands to the heart, halfway fold. Turn to your left, right elbow outside of left thigh. Option 1, stay here. Option 2, spread your wings. Option 3, the bind. And if you're like me, take your left hand to bring your right arm into position. And then left arm comes behind. And wherever you are, looking down, take your hands to the mat, step back 2, downward facing dog, and let your knees find the mat, sit on your heels, child's pose. Find your breath. And walk your hands back. Return to the kneeling position that we started in. And notice any changes in your body from when we started. So thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. Hopefully you learned what you need to find in your body in order to come to a full revolved lunge with the bind. If there's other poses that you want to see, a 30 minutes to video, just let me know in the comments below. My name is Zach Beach. You can learn more about me at zachbeach.com. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being you. Namaste, yogis.